Good evening, class, and welcome to Lesson 1.12, Grouping Symbols. Let's begin by taking a look at our essential question. In what order must operations be evaluated to find a solution when there are parentheses within parentheses? Oh, this is going to get confusing. So let's begin by taking a look at our Unlock the Problem. Mary's weekly allowance is $8 and David's weekly allowance is $5. Every week they each spend $2 on lunch. Write a numerical expression to show how many weeks it will take them together to save enough money to buy a video game for $45. Well, it's got a couple things that we need to do. It says first to underline Mary's weekly allowance and how much she spends. So we're going to underline Mary's. So we know Mary's weekly allowance is $8 and they each spend $2 on lunch. Now we're going to circle David's weekly allowance. It says David's weekly allowance is $5 and he also spends $2 on lunch. So we're going to begin by using parentheses and brackets to write an expression. So you can use parentheses and brackets to group operations that go together. Operations in parentheses and brackets are performed first because remember of order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So you would use parentheses and brackets to go first. Alright, so step 1 says to write an expression to represent how much Mary and David save each week. So how much money does Mary save each week? Well, Mary saves, we know, she gets $8 and spends $2. So we know that when we're looking at Mary, spends means she gives it away, or we will be subtracting. So it would be 8 minus 2, because she starts off with $8 and spends $2 each week on lunch. Now, let's look at David. Now, David gets $5 in allowance and spends 2. So basically, since he's giving 2 away, that's minus. So we got 5 minus 2. All right, so far we have Mary with her $8 that she gets, $2 she spends, and David with the $5 that he gets and $2 he spends. So now it says, how much money do Mary and David save together each week? Well, it says how much money do Mary and we know that key word and means to add. So we got to take how much Mary gets with her 8 minus 2. And we got to take David's 5 minus 2. And then it says we will be adding those together. Well, since we need to kind of group those, we're going to add our parentheses around the 8 and the 2 and around the 5 and the 2 because we want to subtract before we add. So to make sure that we subtract before we add, we need to put them in parentheses, or else the problem would get worked left to right. So now it says step 2 says to write an expression to represent how many weeks it will take Mary and David to save enough money for the video game. So we need to think, how many weeks will it take Mary and David to have enough for a video game? I can use brackets to group operations a second time. So then 45 is divided by the total amount money saved each week. So we've got over here would be our $45 because that's how much it costs the video game. So now we've got our $45. We've got our division sign, which you can barely see there. And then we've got our bracket. So within our bracket, then we include our parentheses because we still want to do the 8 minus 2 first. we've got our plus, and we've got our 5 minus 2 because that's also what we want to do first. And you see how these fit inside that bracket, right? Let's take a look at another example. It says to evaluate expressions with grouping symbols. When evaluating an expression with different grouping symbols, parentheses, brackets, and braces, perform the operation in the innermost set of grouping symbols first, evaluating the expression from the inside out. Just think about like opening a present. You need to get in there in the very inside and start working your way out. So, for example, John gets $6 for his weekly allowance and spends $4 of it. His sister Tina gets $7 for her weekly allowance and spends $3 of it. Their mother's birthday is in 4 weeks. If they spend the same amount each week, how much money can they save together in time to buy her a present? So it says to write the expression using parentheses and brackets. So we've got 4 times bracket parentheses 6 minus 4 plus parentheses 7 minus 13 parentheses and bracket. So it says to perform the operation in the parentheses first. So we're going to go to what's in the parentheses, and we have 6 minus 4 and 7 minus 3. So that's what we're going to do first. Well, we know that 6 minus 4 is $2, and 7 minus 3 is $4. So now we need to do what's inside of the brackets. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And then we have 4 times 6 is 24. So John and Tina will be able to save $24 for their mother's birthday present. Now, what if only Tina saves any money? Will it change the numerical expression? Well, the answer to that would be yes, because the expression will no longer need to include brackets, because you wouldn't have to have this portion up here that would include John's allowance. Now, we're going to try something else. It says to follow the order of operations. So, let's go with what we have here. We have 4 times, we've got braces, brackets, and parentheses, 5 minus 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4 times 2. Now remember what it says. We have to start with the innermost first and work our way out. So we're going to perform the operations in the parentheses. Well, performing the operation in the parentheses would be 5, right here, the 5 minus 2, and that would give us 3. And then 2 plus 4 is going to be 6 times 2. Okay, and it says perform the operations in the brackets. So then we take and we do the 3 times 3 is 9. 6 minus 2 is, or 6 times 2, I'm sorry, 6 times 2 is 12. Then we do the 4 times 21, and that's going to be 84. Now I'm going to let you try B on your own for tonight, and I'll take a look at it first thing in the morning or when we do math. But for this evening, our password is going to be car keys. Yes, they were randomly sitting on my desk. That's why that's password. Anyway, make sure you record the password as proof that you did your math homework, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Have a good evening.